Okay, so I think today is going to be our last day for Forza. I'm going to just pop into a race really quick so that I'm doing something, and then feel free to let me know what to look at after this name. What is Autovista? I guess maybe I'm just going to end up clicking on it and finding out for myself.
Now it's time for another attempt at racing your way through the demanding Sebring International Raceway.
You're thinking Autovista, maybe just look at the tuning menu, just like look at what all the things are in there. I don't need to spend a ton of time on it or like actually try it other than to see the stuff other than tire pressure. You're thinking doing a race from each class, maybe? I think getting to level 50 feels like a pretty natural stopping point. I think that puts it pretty close to the initial how long to beat, which I think tracks as well. We could keep going, but I think I get kind of the basic gist of it enough to be able to comment on it when we play other non-simulationist racing games in the future. And I think it has affected how I try to control games like this, like that one Arcade Paradise game. Oh, come on, bud. Don't slam into me. Only I may do that. Really need to work on my turning in second gear. Gets me in trouble very frequently. I could try that, yeah. What button would I press for that though? I feel like I don't have a free button. Left bumper? Okay. Yeah, we could also try just failing horribly at turning the racing line off. I think unfortunately the racing line is like stream quality of life, as we've talked about, just because I can't memorize these tracks. I think I could memorize these tracks if the game was structured in a way where I was really like forced to keep running the same race over and over until I won, but externally inserting that into the game is probably a low value proposition. Those are my skid marks there, I think. Have a good day there, bud. Yeah, thank you for insisting on rewind. It's really helped me to learn lessons on specific turns that would be too annoying to try to set up again. That's also stream quality of life, I think. It's like there's diminishing value to me doing the exact same thing without rewind. It'd be a lot of practicing the thing I already know how to do, you know, to try to get to the thing that I need to practice. Which is sometimes fine if, like, the game is structured in a way that doing the thing I already know how to do is interesting. Like, I don't mind salty runbacks in Dark Souls, for example. I think it would be low value in a game like this. Hey, Bucky, how you doing? Fancy on that turn, maybe not worth it. This name put Gran Turismo 3 on stream a couple years ago, but that's it. Makes sense, yeah. One track location hasn't come up. Okay. So let's go through these systematically. So I can get out of World Tour now. Which are the track locations? I can do Fujimi, Kaido, and Nordschleife.
To Barcelona's majestic Circuit de Catalunya.
Let's see. That would be replay. I guess I can do hot lap. So just do everything else, and favorite car so far is probably this one. Oh, do I need to unlock it or something? Oh, here. Full circuit? Excuse me. Be refreshing my PS tracker here. Stream PC parts coming in. I got all of them in one shipment, and then a second one that I had to get from Newegg. I'm feeling But the one from Newegg is going to get delayed because it's happened to me before where like, I've got everything here except the one thing I need to put it all together. Laps just to see my ghost. Maybe rewind. I didn't realize that was as twisty as it was. I kind of expect that when I go to having to use a clutch, like I have kind of muscle memory for using a clutch in real life, but not for in a video game, so I think I'm just gonna like slam into the wall, blow out my transmission a bunch of times. Like how forgiving is it? Like, can I just, what was previously B or X become LBB, LBX? Pretty track. This is the one somebody was saying is part of a like 24-hour marathon. Do they like shut these roads down? Because they just look like regular like roads, right? These are really long straightaways. Is it 24 hours of laps, or is it more of a distance race kind of a thing? How do you pronounce that word, and what does that mean? I think you mentioned that in Enthusia as well. Hey guys, Smiley, how you doing? It's just chicane, okay. I'm sure it wasn't some... Okay, and then it just tests how many laps you did. I'm guessing this is the longest individual, like, full course in the game, which is cool. Oh, really? There's like 2 tricky turns in the whole thing. Ah, okay, yeah. Gotcha. Almost flipped my car. Is there a car like this in Midnight Club 2 as well towards the end game? Oh shit, I was looking at chat. Oops. Well, it was a really long straightaway. I see. Song that's playing right now has a part that's indistinguishable from like tires squealing in the background. There's another one that has whispering that always freaks me out. There's like somebody in my house. All racing games should have enthusiast quality music. That soundtrack is so good. Oh, is that the little S-shaped thing? I was calling it a tricky turn.
Let's go.
Is this pretty close to the actual lap in the real race? Interesting. I'm surprised like how many straightaways it has. On straightaways, I feel like I'm having to do a lot less work to play the game. But is that true in real life? Is there like jockeying that happens on straightaways? Like chance to pass people or something? I think that's something that Forza, maybe with its lack of penalties, didn't do the best job of communicating to me, because I would always try to pass by like clipping the grass on corners, right? Like for every like legitimate clean overtake I had, I probably had like 10 cheesy grass clipping overtakes. This is a chicane? Okay. Okay, let's do my last lap here. I'm gonna see how I go with the Ghost. Well, not by doing that. Oh, I see. They still kind of had like a constructor relationship in racing. I guess I associate that with F1, but that's... it's common to a lot more racing than just F1. My initial exposure to racing as a kid was just kind of cultural osmosis awareness of NASCAR. And NASCAR, like the whole point is that everyone's in the same kind of car. Is that true? That's cool. Let me see. Is stock car a different thing from NASCAR? Or is that what the S in NASCAR stands for? Nice. I know you talked about this before, but I wonder if you could make a like a NASCAR game or an F1 game that's like about the story drama aspect of it. I don't know if you could generate that procedurally or just write a story that's based on real life or something. My understanding is that the pro wrestling games at least try to do something like that. It's like kind of the whole point, right? I guess it's like also the whole point of most sports, so that it's missing is weird. That's cool. In this Le Mans race, do they like have to pit constantly? Cool. Right. They could like you gotta have like a Dwarf Fortress style procedural story, right? I think to date, Dwarf Fortress has been the only game I've played where I've really bought the procedural storytelling thing. I hear that like RimWorld does it too, but almost any game where I've encountered an attempt to do it, it's like this isn't working. Like I can see the Matrix too easily, right? Okay, so the other ones you said. The full Fujimi. Dwarf Fortress Motorsports RPG. That sounds really cool. And then the final boss one. Yeah, I feel like what you would have to do is you'd have to like simulate a whole bunch of different drivers' careers, right? Design like a sufficiently complex simulation that the player can't really anticipate how it's going to work, and they're just going to have to slot themselves into it, even if they're not good enough to be first place driver. Dwarf Orchards was a wild experience for me. It was the Always Sunny gif of Danny DeVito crying. I get it. It was like I've played so many games that try to do procedural narrative and it just never works. And to finally play a game where like finally that makes sense, and for it to be like the original procedural game, the original game where people were talking about how amazing the procedural narrative is, I should say. A lot of people have been chasing that dragon. 3-hour stints. Got you in the big long marathons that come on. Start driving really fast, like the wear and tear on the tires is like, it's like exponential, isn't it? You cause wildly more wear. It's not like if you go twice as fast, it's not just twice as much wear. Gotcha. This is a really cool track. I like this one. This one's just not in the later Forza games. I see. Ooh, the waterfall. Probably my favorite real track, and then I equally like the fake Alps track and the fake Autumn track. Those are both pretty cool. Oh, really? Well, I don't know if I like any of the real tracks. That Italian one's real, right? The one that's all twisty and slow? Fuck. Well, turns out I like video games. I like the Indy 500 oval or whatever. Sure, yeah. This place feels pretty real. There's big stretches of road up here on the Mesa and Los Alamos that are similar to this. You go up to check out the Caldera. Doesn't go this high though. Great. Pretty. I like doing this track without other cars. I could actually like look at the environment they built. I see. Oh, I haven't? I guess I can do that before doing the final boss one you were talking about. Kind of surprised. Like, I don't think if you had ever told me which ones were real and which ones were fake, that I would have guessed. I may have guessed the Alps one was fake, but it's like surprising to me though, because, well, I guess I'm not sure, because like, you know, they design real race courses for aesthetics and for like, there's game design and how they do everything. Like, not all courses are just racing on existing street roads, right? Like, it's like, oh, was originally cow paths. I guess that's odd because I did do a few based on real locations levels in other racing games where you are like racing on real streets, and those felt pretty memorable. I guess maybe it's that like in real life the courses aren't like the audience isn't with the driver, so the course doesn't need to be particularly like exciting to a viewer, I guess, since you don't get to see the whole course as a viewer. Okay, yeah, we may as well see everything. Got 4 hours. Try to save the final boss one for last. If I wanted to do this track as a rivals race, is there like an event list option for that, or can I only like randomly look into that during the World Tour? I say rivals, where it just puts you up against one other person and there's traffic. Real courses have to be built where they can get land or at tracks. Will free play let me specify things like I just want to have one person I'm up against in traffic, or would it put me up against like a group of 8 people, 8 computers? See. So that go up against one person and there's traffic thing is unique to World Tour? Ah. I think that's my favorite format in the whole game. I like the combination of being focused on one other car who seems like designed to be maybe a better challenge than the full field in a normal race, and having to navigate traffic the entire time, which I think is like more what the core experience is supposed to be. 10-minute first lap, damn. Yeah, I suppose that happened to me once in one of the other races. I feel like if we were talking about how it's very difficult to get the difficulty just right, so that the player always feels like they're barely winning, your best bet for doing that would probably be a mode like that, where you only have to worry about the AI of like one unit instead of multiple units. But that's probably a commitment to abstraction that would be unacceptable in the genre, right? So I want to race against 10 people. If you're just focused on making like one opponent who's really good and has some cheats up its sleeve to like phase through traffic, right? Like you can learn some quirk of the AI and abuse it. Oh, sure. I'm trying to think just very broadly, conceptually, how could you make something like a challenging racing AI? And not just like a globally challenging one, but one that's specifically tailored to be pretty tough for you at any given point in your career. I wonder if you could do something like have the player drive a lap on a race or something, and then introduced the rival cars after the first lap, and like use the player's performance on the lap, like use the recording of their performance as a baseline, and then at each of the turns, like they get, I don't know, 40 or 50 different simulations of slightly different behavior and go with the one that produces the best time. Doing that in real time is probably more possible now if you weren't committing to a fully photorealistic game. You want to do it where it feels distinct enough from the player's actual performance that they're not just like watching their ghost. All the things that my mind jumps to for trying to make an interesting like game would require some kind of breaking of the simulation, right? Like your opponent driver would have to be naturally more powerful than you, that they could clip through things, right? But you would still have to pass them. You wouldn't like phase through them if you had to drive past them. But I feel like there'd have to be some kind of asymmetry. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. I'll just do 2 laps on this one. I'm watching my ghost. I guess my ghost is mostly behind because it had to start. Two race championship. I guess that's fine for the final mission, but still. I guess the idea I'm orbiting is like, is there any meat to the idea of a game that's about having a turbo racing ghost? Like you have a ghost that's based on your performance, but it's permitted to divert a little bit from your performance at certain points. For a different kind of game, maybe, for a more arcadey racing game. Yeah, I'd love to see a game where, like, records my ghost and then algorithmically determines the biggest single mistake I made in the race, and then does almost the same thing but tries to correct that mistake to see what the gap is, right? Obviously, it wouldn't be amazing on a 10-minute lap like this, but oh yeah, that sounds really cool. It's a good way to make sure you're going up against someone who's about as good as you are. There's the Indy Oval. What was the other oval I haven't done? And then the final boss one. Was it the Grand Prix circuit or the Brickyard Speedway? E500 was today. Go Survivors. Okay, so not this one. The Racing Ghost seems like such an obvious, like it's been around forever, right? There's a ghost in what, Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo. As far as I know, like I haven't really seen any games mess around with the design space for the concept of a Racing Ghost. Seems like it would be fun to explore because like the Racing Ghost is you. Those logos are on their own category. Okay. I'll just do 3 really quick. One might be worth doing against other players, or other computers. Well, that did not look like that was going to stop me like that. Couldn't even tell it counted as grass. I'll do 4 laps then. What percentage of, so like, how do I phrase this question? I'm not really having to break with the format here. Like, what percentage of the time do you think NASCAR drivers are able to go top speed? They've got a decent amount of room to like overtake each other, right? Yeah. I guess I should specify I meant on this track specifically. Cool. Did not surpass my past self. As I said, Sedona was another one that I didn't finish. Sunset Peninsula. Speedway. Might come back to the Indy 500 track solo hot lap when I try the clutch. Now, my question was mostly like how crowded is a NASCAR race? Having never watched one, right? Like, is it never safe to go top speed because you're always surrounded by cars? Even if you're in the lead, you're coming up on lapping the person in last. Oh, sure. This game has given me an appreciation. I guess if I were even to watch a single NASCAR race, I appreciate how fucking scary it would be to be trying to do this with a giant crowd of other cars going this fast. Like, bumping another car would be terrifying. What actually happened in Dale Earnhardt's accident where he died? Like, I know the cruel nerd take on it, which is very stupid, but was it just a freak accident? Somebody else bumped him at a weird angle or something? I'll do this last one and I'll call it. I just want to see if I can stay ahead of the ghost. Trying to block somebody trying to pass him. It's fucking scary. Sure. Okay, we'll go do the last fatality in a top NASCAR division. So do you think that his death made everyone take it more seriously? Or just something. This one. Full circuit. Makes sense. Yeah, I was talking about the Halo in F1 yesterday. that it like didn't take very long for people to be completely on board with it. And this is, so this is the final boss race in Forza, but is this a real track? It's like based on a real street legal road, or is it like a course for racing? Racetrack because it uses a toll road, that's cool. That's cool. This one feels more interesting than Le Mans so far. That's cool. Deemed unsafe for F1, really? What was the rationale? It's just too narrow? I guess I haven't done an X-Class car. What's the best way for me to mess with that? To just like fully upgrade one of the R1 cars? Or are there any I can buy? Gotcha. Like, where are there even opportunities to overtake? The curves, maybe? This is a cool track so far. I like this one. And this one has survived into the later games. Interesting. Have you played or do you play much of whatever the most recent Forza game is? Like, begrudgingly? I know you said that you don't care as much for these kinds of racing games, but... Gotcha. And it being Forza Motorsport 2023 is not an attempt to make it an annual entry, right? It's like Tomb Raider 2013. They're trying to rebrand it as like a reboot almost, or like a platform now, live service platform. Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if there was like they were moving to having annual entries. Gotcha. That probably makes more sense, honestly. Like, I know there's a lot of complaining about there being kind of platform live service games, but for something like a game like a Forza or a Madden or something that honestly makes sense to me instead of trying to release standalone roster update every year. I guess it's annoying to essentially require an internet connection, though. I like their choice of horrible gray skies here. This reminds me of living in Columbus, Ohio. They look like every day. Minus that little sun peeking in there for a second. Yeah. I imagine some amount of annoying, like, reinvention of the wheel has to happen every time they release a new entry or, like, a new sequel. I hope part of that is just a general commitment that the graphics are good enough. Curious what new thing they're like are even really going to do with the graphics for Forza in 10 years, right? Like, given all the things you could use those resources on, it feels like it's, you know, a misallocation to spend them on chasing successive 1% improvements. Do one more here. I'll let the ghost catch up to me. I like this track quite a lot. I can see why the Le Mans track exists, but kind of just felt like I was like driving around the neighborhood. It's funny. Oh, I'm not noticing there is a bunch of graffiti on the track, huh? It's cool. So this race still happens like once a year. I wonder where the 24-hour thing came from. That seems crazy. Like, is it out of a desire to just show endurance on the part of the car? Make sure that people can watch it at any time, regardless of what time zone they're in? When someone first brought up Le Mans, I was like, oh, that must be like a really, really long race, like cross country or something. I didn't realize they were like driving in a loop for that long. Yeah, there's a lot to prove. That track's... Now it's just like still done out of like tradition, essentially. Oh, that's fine. I like that this one's so different from the Japanese hill one. Actually, it feels like you could like race on this one at high speeds, I should say, because you can never go particularly fast on the Japanese one. Yeah. So, things to try still. The clutch, I'll do that on the Indy 500 race. I'll probably turn it back on after I play with it for a little bit. Sunrise. Maybe try to do a straightforward race with the racing line turned off just to see how badly I get wrecked. Manual with clutch. Not clutched long enough there. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's tough. I feel like there'd have to be a lot of like haptic feedback on the controller for me to really feel, or like a lot of like audio feedback. Because for me, it's just kind of like tap left bumper, tap X, right? Yeah, I was doing that instinctively, I think. Let's see. I was just... That time I didn't. But the timing's very weird. Because it's so like digital, right? I'm just pressing clutch. So what happens if I shift without pressing the clutch? It doesn't make like a "you fucked up" noise like a real car does. Oh, really? Whee. Oh, it's better. Okay. That's really annoying. I kind of like the idea of needing to have a clutch, but I might want to wait to mess with that in a game until there's a game that has like really profound feedback about it. Whether it's like, because there's like zero haptic feedback even on the Xbox 360 controller. Feels like very abstract in a way that's not great. Okay, and so if we go back to event list, we turn off the racing line. We do F through S. The ones over here are more interesting, but they start at a higher level, right? This block is more interesting because it requires you to use specific cars. Oh, before I do this, let's try to make a like super souped up X car just for fun. I'll do that. They probably won't be touching R1 or higher for the rest of the stream. And I want to look at tuning as well. Really funny that it like yells at you whenever you try to pick the drag tires. Are these just here for like experimentation? They look like they make the car worse. But the game doesn't have any drag racing, right? So it's weird. There's no way for me to just like ask, like, do you happen to know what the best rim style is for weight? This is a thought experiment. Okay. Oh, I'll check. Hooray! NK. It doesn't like it. They do have the one you mentioned, though. And they have both the ones you mentioned, but this one is better than what I had, so let's try that. Let's see how quick it is with this. Sort by manufacturer, divide them into 3 arbitrary category name, and weights are still all over the place. Oh my god. I like this course. This one. Oh, my motherboard's still listed as out for delivery. Ooh-wee. Maybe I'm the last, like, stop. Fortunately, it's UPS and not Amazon. Amazon's quite a bit worse if they deliver. Oh shit, I still have the clutch on. Fuck. Hold on. Well, we'll try it. Oops. I'm over here like focusing so hard on the clutch, I'm forgetting to actually like move the stick. Oh, does it? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I am interested in that. I think it would be a fun extra layer, and probably one that I would stop noticing after just a little bit of time, but want there to be more in-game feedback for it, like force feedback preferably. Maybe just the Xbox 360 rumble wasn't up to the task. Okay, I'm like, I can ignore the racing line when I've got one of these high downforce cars on this track. That is incorrect. Sometimes I can. Depends on how wide the road is there, I guess. Well, that the downforce thing is literally just the geometry of the car. There's not like some like crazy non-shape based technology that's sucking the car down. Is that true for like modern F1 cars as well? That it's just they're constantly finding new shapes that are better and better at it? Whoops. Okay, let's not do that. This is the hubris of being in this car specifically, on this track. Tried having a giant fan in the 60s and 70s, but it got banned. I really like that part about F1. Changing the formula that's permitted every time, and people coming up with crazy shit. What was the progression? It's DRS, right? Like not the crazy GameStop stock thing. Did that start as just something that was too OP and they were like, okay, well, let's just, instead of it being available all the time, we'll have specific parts of the track where it's allowed? Weird that they would like litigate it that way. Really interesting. Is it like easier to overtake when DRS is available or something? We're gonna do event list, work our way up, the racing line off. Just fail every race with the racing line off and see how it goes. Guess I'll start with F, and then I'll try to do anything I can do over here. There are no Fs there, so we can start with an F here. Board Ka. Wait, really? What? Okay, I was gonna say. Well, we could turn off the rewind, but I don't think that really proves anything, right? I can turn it off right now. Go race, event list. This one. Fine. I'll leave it on for now. There's enough races where I just like don't press it. I wish it tracked how many times you pressed it. I wish you just had it on by default and then it gave you the bonus if you did the whole race without pressing it. That would feel better. Difficulty. Change. I'll do one of each class with no racing line, and I maybe turn off rewind partway through. Word Ka. Now I can kind of feel the speed difference. If they don't skip like multiple gears. Okay, little guy, you can climb up that hill. go, third gear. Virtually everything in F through D tier is going to be front-wheel drive by default, right? Oh, really? Going off-road isn't as punishing there as I thought it was going to be. I really used that to overtake before. I already did the E thing over here. Fiat Punto Evo. Punto Evo Sport apps. Really? It's funny. But it's the same, but it's the default car, whatever. Mostly testing myself here with the other cars. think I asked this in a much earlier episode, but I don't think that drafting in this game is like that's not like part of the physics simulation, right? It's not actually simulating air resistance. It's just probably giving you a speed boost if it detects that you're behind a car. Ooh, okay, that's tough. That makes sense. I'm having an interesting thing that wasn't happening to me on the other cars, where I'll come up to the turn, I'll start slowing down, and then my car just starts skidding. Without me putting any gas on it or braking. Do I need to be braking more, perhaps? That makes sense. Like right there. Let's see. It's one of the things the racing line is warning me about. I guess to date, I assume the racing line was just saying, hey, go this fast so that you don't like slam into the wall, essentially, or go off track. Okay, I need to be braking way more, it looks like. This is the one with the whispering track. Probably going too slow now. So when I pick the car that the other cars are using, should I go in and hit quick upgrade even before loading in, just so that this doesn't happen? Because I can tell it to quick upgrade up to a certain class, right? And generally for this use case, like I feel like I understand the upgrade system well enough from yesterday's stream that I could go in and manually upgrade, but like there's specifically no point when it's just trying to upgrade within a class, right? Like really the things that it doesn't do are the things that would take you out of the current class with that car. Winning sun. Practicing, just trying out no racing line to see how much of a disaster it is. I see. I just want to max them. That's all I'm trying to do here. No, Twingo. Twingo, probably. This one. Twingo. Twist, swing, and tango. Perfect. Uh-huh. Marketing departments are funny. That sounds like something out of Japan. Sounds like a fucking Hideo Kojima character backstory. France is the Japan of Europe. Very, like, vividly imagined a Kodak call introduction of Twingo. No. I do well if when reading a French word I correctly intuit which of the letters I'm not supposed to pronounce. Stop 3/4 of the way through. My understanding is that the rules for pronunciation are actually pretty rigid and predictable, but as an outsider, I've never tried. Probably better than English, where there are no rules. Everything is just chaos. That's pretty funny. I wish I could draw. I would draw this Hideo Kojima Twingo character. And like the Kodak conversation. So you were saying that Battlefield was like a dance. Exactly. Finding I'm doing better the more of the turn I can like physically see from far away, which I guess makes sense. Yeah, this one really gives me trouble for whatever reason. That requires like memorizing the course though, right? Yeah, I was saying that I don't know that I can use that if I haven't memorized the course, right? I don't know if I have a sight reading trick for it. Power nap just brought it up independently. I'm guessing it's a vibes thing. Eventually you're able to sight read it because you've done this enough. Yeah. Well, it's clear that playing with the racing line on has done something in my brain. Like, I'm not good at this by any stretch, but I'm doing better at this than I would if you had me try it 26 hours of gameplay ago, right? Still in Mario Kart hold down the gas mode. I'm gonna be able to stop him here. I tried to go for something there. Like sim racer, yeah. Never played anything like this before. Don't know anything about the genre. I think the most hardcore racing game I'd ever played before streaming was Mario Kart. I'm like struggling to think of anything else that even came close. Okay. Let's see. Lancia Delta. I don't even think I played like F-Zero other than like maybe on a rental once. That F-Zero 99 seems like it's pretty cool. My brother-in-law is really into it. Nope, never done a flight sim. Very little sim anything, to be honest. Like, even if the word sim is in the title, I probably haven't played it. I think I rented Sim City for the Super Nintendo one time when I was a kid. Or anything that's like actually a sim, like a flight sim. Not. Okay there, Mr. Russo? That ought to help. Torque splitter. Oh yeah, I know what that means. Wish it told you what the badges were when you got them. This game weirdly seems to have almost no Xbox 360 achievements. Reward I'd actually pursue is trying to get the different badges. Come on. Get him for other game. Take a look in a second. Take a look after this race. This is back on the hard AI too. I'm not sure the World Tour ever gave me an AI as difficult as this, which is kind of funny because you said that hard isn't even hard, right? It's like the third highest difficulty. I see. Oh, too fast. I see. Oh, I'm not done. I thought that was the finish line. Shit. Guess you check the map to see the finish line? Okay. That's the finish line. Still hate this menu. Fiery fashion. Lotus, Elise. Okay, so just to demonstrate that I can do this, not because it actually is going to make any difference. I go in the upgrade shop. See, like a super high value. But I have to like drop something else. Wait. Oh, I could do this and go back one. Wait, I thought I could. Is $4.99 the highest? Or is it 500? Okay. Not seem worth it. Okay. This kind of like degenerates to a game of like, you know where this piece goes? That's right, it goes in the square hole, right? Like, let me go find the Lego piece that's just tiny enough to fit in there. Who cares, like, what it's actually doing in the car? I have to think, like, what, if anything, is substantively different between that and, like, upgrading a mech with a upgrade budget. I like the mech upgrade system in BattleTech, but it essentially degenerates to, like, just two choices. Like, do you want missiles, or do you want this other thing? That's cool. Just add ballast. Come on, Gus, let me pass you. Andrew was watching Law & Order recently. Giancarlo Esposito was the guest actor as a defense attorney. It was a really uncomfortable episode because the defense attorney was completely right, but the show was framing it as though he was the bad guy. This frequently happens on Law & Order. That's not great. It's really refreshing watching Colombo because it predates Propaganda. Colombo, as far as the show is concerned, is like a supernatural gremlin who just happens to take the form of a police officer because that's the best thing to fuck with rich people. It's great. Show's really good. You should watch it if you have like Tubi or Peacock or whatever. Yeah, exactly. It's like so refreshing, the number of Columbo episodes where like the rich guy will do the crime and then like the regular cops will show up and the rich guy will say it must have been this, and they're like, well gee, that must have been what it was, that's what he said it was. Well, I guess there's nothing for us to do here. Shrug their shoulders, right? That's the interaction, I know. Mr. Evans, what's your plan here? This is much less of a shit show than I was expecting. Like I said, I'm still not doing a good job, but I was really expecting to turn off the racing line and just like start crashing into walls and spamming rewind. I'm not getting first place, but I'm actually kind of impressed that having it set to brake only for as long as I did was enough to teach a couple things. Now what's going to be interesting is this is going to stay in my brain for a year. We'll see when I play more Enthusia. I think there are some transferable concepts to Enthusia. That game rules. Yeah, good. Thank you for pushing for it. I can turn off rewind, but I don't know. It's like, that means when I make a mistake, the race is just over and I can just hit restart, which is essentially a much more annoying rewind. I don't remember if I've used it in this race. Maybe I did once. About to have to use it here. Maybe I can recover. I start to get antsy when I feel like I can maybe overtake if I go just a little bit faster than I'm comfortable. And then I fuck up the next turn. Sure. Makes sense. Audi R8. This one? Guess so. Yeah, that makes sense. Pretty important in Midnight Club 2. I ended up kind of learning it in that game without thinking about it. Normal interaction between other cars there. It's fine. Oh, shit, I didn't mean to press Y there. That was an accident. Didn't change anything. Trying to press that. Very normal, very normal. Oh, that is way more extreme than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Yeah, that's one where I can't make out the turn because like the guardrail leading up to it obscures it, so a total shit show. did not go well for me. I'm gonna go back to that initial turn. Right before here. Yeah, that's the same one, isn't it, where I can't see the extent of the turn because of the guardrail. Same problem, maybe it's not the same turn as last time. I imagine that's corrected by just memorizing the track layout. There was a level of enthusiasm that was like, you're not going to know when to brake here because you can't see around the corner, so just practice it until you remember it. It was so satisfying to be told, we don't expect you to remember this. Try it more than once. I guess I can try to look at the mini-map, maybe? The brain basically doesn't register that as existing. Time to, like, glance at it. I didn't think I was going to clip into the grass that badly there. I navigated that one okay the first time, even I think it was just from remembering it from previous races. Shit. Once again, I even remembered, like I knew that it was coming because it happened twice. And I still didn't start braking in time. Crazy. This is the best track in the game, this song. Otherwise, kind of mid OST. I guess they wanted it to not, like, distract from the gameplay, but... Forza's been all over the place. Oh, interesting. I'm biased towards music that for no reason sounds like boss music. So Enthusia is always going to be the champion for me. I'll have to play it. Okay, S tier. done this one? I guess not. Ride one. How do I feel after all this about the core concept of driving a car with realistic physics in a video game? It's interesting. It feels different, substantively different from Mario Kart. I said substantive a lot. It feels significantly noticeably different from Mario Kart. I think that there is merit in this kind of game existing, and I'm sad that there's not more video gamey games that just use simulationist physics. Discuss what the barriers are to making that, as opposed to kind of like a driving sandbox. I think you could totally make Diddy Kong Racing, but with realistic driving physics if you wanted to. That was, wow. Nothing I could do about that, I don't think. Like, I actively enjoyed the couple hours I played of Enthusia, which is kind of going for the same thing, and it's mostly because it feels like it's more structured. And I get that it doesn't have, like, actual racing against other cars in that Driving Revolution mode, but I don't see any reason why you couldn't adapt that into the mode by having, like, moving gates that you have to drive through that simulate other cars. It sounds like the non-Driving Revolution mode of that game also dips a little bit into more interesting level design. Struggling to not slip all over the place with this guy. Treat this like the R1 car, apparently. Oh, literally, dude, that's weird. Well, this might be that thing I was talking about where, like, the S tier is really hard to drive, and then the R3 and R2 are much easier, and then the R1 is harder again. Weird difficulty valley, essentially. So is it globally true that the instant you bunny hop, you've made a mistake? You should have shifted like a frame or two or sooner? I'm sliding all over the place today. It's crazy. Kindly thank the computer for slamming into a wall there. This car is a nightmare to drive. Something that could trick newbies into not even realize it's a sin as they get good at it. Yeah. That'd be cool. I think you can convert newbies into masters, or at least, I don't know, journeymen. And I think the gap between a total novice and a journeyman is actually pretty high in this game, a game like this. R3. I have this one. Current car eligible, fuck that shit. Gumpert Apollo. Hold on. See why this bothers me? Because it's like, well, the game should simply get it the rest of the way there. You know what I mean? Oh, maybe it physically can't. Why are there things that are not accessible to it? Great. Fuck you, game. Yeah, right. And I don't know, I guess part of my argument is that Quick Upgrade is solving a problem that's not a terribly interesting or challenging puzzle. It doesn't feel like it's a fast travel level trade-off, right, or a regenerating health level trade-off with what they're asking you to solve for in most cases, I think. But I guess I feel that way about a lot of games. Like, I would interpret my frustration with that as being very mappable to my frustration with games that give you too much garbage loot and then no way to like meaningfully sort it or like find whatever is the most optimal for what you're wearing. But where like it's like mathematically knowable what's optimal to wear, where it's just asking you to like spend time looking at a bunch of different item tooltips. It's like appraisal. Yeah, right. Right. There could hypothetically be a puzzle that's like, you need to do this, I don't know, A tier course, but you have to start with an F tier car and level it up to A tier yourself without using Quick Upgrade. That would make sense. I took so much damage into my brakes at the beginning of this restart. was okay with that for a second, but and the bumping just continued. Hold here. I'll try to anyway. Place, baby. I could better predict like what kind of damage I was going to take from a, because sometimes I'll like have a collision with the computer that like fucks up my brakes or something, and I'm like, that feels like not at all different from the last collision I had. They really need to turn the grass into like funny Mario Kart, like purple glowing goo or something. May as well be. Yeah, it's funny. Either make it a thing or don't, right? I think I lost a ton of ground there on the first lap as well. Otherwise, why is it here, right? I like the face on the top of this car. Like a really happy guy with like a really big nose. And he's got like a bone through his teeth. S-tier top of car. always get really screwed. Look at the guy behind me from passing. Oh, disregard. Never mind. Yeah, it's very strange that the games are exclusively sandboxes. Like, I wonder if just the raw barrier to entry is what stops developers like Konami from making an Enthusia, right? Or just the feeling that we can't compete with Forza or Gran Turismo, so why would we even bother entering this market? I wonder what, like, the load-bearing cause is, right? Like, do you think it's the car licensing? Like, we started by talking about that. It would be funny if that's really, like, the heart of it, that no one feels like it's worth really pursuing this if they have to use made-up fictional cars. As games get more expensive to make, there's been a very frustrating consolidation of everything into a handful of, like, big-name developers. I really do not know how to navigate that turn without the racing line. Yeah. Right, because it's a subtle problem. The Dark Souls of racing games. Dark Souls is a really interesting case because I think the things that make Dark Souls so much better than other similar games that came before it are all very subtle things that are difficult for people who think a lot about game design to completely articulate. Like, they can point to one thing or two things, but the reality is that it's good because of this, like, complex combination of factors, right? It's like this the whole is greater than the sum of its parts sort of a situation. But like, casual gamers, newbie gamers, gamers who are less thoughtful about, like, what's going on in the design of the games they're playing, also, like, intuitively, by vibes, understand that something special is happening, even if they can't come close to articulating it. And so it's, like, really, I've always feel blown away that Dark Souls is as popular as it is and that FromSoft games sell as many copies as they do. Like, I feel like I lived in a blessed reality where that's possible to be true. Because my expectation would be that the magic of a Souls game would elude a lot of the, like, normal action game public, and that they'd continue to be satisfied with, I don't know, I don't want to shit on Devil May Cry, but, like, Devil May Cry or something similar as their go-to 3D action combat game, you know? And in that case, like, it sounds like it was pure dumb fucking luck too, because, like, there was no real marketing. FromSoft was just making another game with Demon Souls, and it happened to explode with streamers and on YouTube. It was like, hey everyone, no, seriously, you need to play this game. It was like, it totally spread by word of mouth. But, like, the initial game that was amazing, Demon Souls, wasn't, like, insanely expensive for FromSoft to produce, right? They didn't have to secure all these really expensive licenses. They didn't have to take this gigantic risk to start with. Which I feel like if you were trying to do the simulationist racing game, you would have to take that risk. And you would have to find a way to try to market it, and good fucking luck, right? Yeah, Crazy High Fantasy, that'd be fun. Yeah, you could sneak it in there, right? You could say, play this crazy fantasy steampunk simulationist racing game, right? Haha, your car, you know, has like steam valves on it, and you can see like clockwork wheels turning. Haha, but then the game's actually like super good and does a bunch of things that Forza and Gran Turismo aren't doing. And that might be what it takes. I don't know. Or like a crazy art style, right? There are a lot of things where it's evident that we're on like the worst possible timeline for that thing. It does seem like we're on a pretty bad timeline for the success and flourishing of simulationist racing alternatives, right? In the Utopia world where we're playing Enthusia 2023. A long fucking race. 6 laps. Oh, come on, I almost had it. Yeah. I see. My Mobo just got here. Hooray! That's exciting. Okay. I can build my computer over the weekend. Just have to cross like 20 anxiety checkpoints on the way there. Ferrari 599XX. This one, 1.5 million. Jesus. Do I have an R2 that I can just do? Not that I need the money for anything, but the principle of the thing. Amazing. Incredible. I feel like the computer should be like, they should like hack it in that it leaves you the fuck alone if it's starting behind you for the start of the race. R3 cars feel like they're just really bad R2 cars. This car looks like a sci-fi car. Oh, I see. That has pretty significant and noticeable effects. It's weird, I feel like they shouldn't let non-race cars into that category, especially if it's like the default category. Sure. Yeah, good to stop at this one. And then we can look at Autovista, and I guess I want to look at the tuning menus to see what the options are. Do it and then test it. Tire pressure. Wish they had a way to programmatically tell you. I mean, I guess they try to tell you how much it matters via the budget when you're upgrading. Like, okay, if this gives you plus 100, it must matter more than something gives you plus 1. But I can't tell. A lot of the things they have in there feel like they're just there to kind of stunt on, like, show off how cool their simulation is versus stuff that this actually makes a significant difference. Isn't it cool that our simulation lets you set your tire inflation separately for your front and rear tires? unfortunate. Really. I definitely get the sense that there are people who like long for Burnout, right? Like people have positive memories of Burnout 3 and want to play that again. And they're sad that they're not getting it. I think someone could potentially make a Schmurnout game, but I don't know, I guess the game feel is so crucial to get absolutely right there. Maybe that's very difficult to do. It's too bad. They just didn't recapture the magic, or... God, first and second place are so far ahead of me. I'm guessing they just exist as like math abstractions once they're off the map. That was bad. I see. Things are going okay for me there for a minute, and then they very much were not. Let's just like clip the corner of it. Did he brake check me? I didn't see what happened there. I was just planning to move to the right like a second after that. Right, I'm right. Let me look at tuning. Setup. So there's tire pressure, gear speed versus acceleration. Well, I kind of want to max this out. So nice that they actually try to like describe it on the right there. Here, I'll make this car have, I'll turn all of these to the max, which seems like a really bad idea, but I just want to see what happens. Really the fastest I can. It takes too long. Is not worth it. I'm gonna bail as soon as this one's done. They figure no one's in it. This feels like really messing around in a character creator, right? To get someone's nose to point in exactly the right direction. Yeah, when I pick a direction to max or min, I should I should go in the one where it's faster for me to fill it. Jelly car. Drivable except it rolls over easily if you turn too hard. Oh, this is super not worth it. Just stop here. This is a pretty comical number of options. I feel like the percentage of players who have any idea what to do in this menu has to be extremely, like, small, right? It has to be quite low. Where, like, this menu doesn't feel to them like the main upgrade menu felt to me at first. No, Cillian. No middle sliders. Go Monster Factory. I just keep thinking I'm on the final menu. I was like, no, there's more. Yeah, but if it's the only category would use the extremes, could you really feel adding like a pound of tire pressure? All right, let's go get fucking destroyed here. Set everything to 69. I'll do that next. I kind of want the car to like glitch out like a glitchy ragdoll, right, and just like fly into the space. I don't think it's gonna be that bad, but play a mod of Forza 4 where it's the exact same game, but all of the cars have just been replaced with somebody T-posing. I'm excited. Whoa! It's almost giving me that energy. Do donuts for a minute. Well, this essentially means I don't need gears anymore. I can drive onto the sand now. I wonder if literally everything I change is actually in the simulation, or if at least one of those sliders is bullshit. Like, this convinces me that some of them are real, right? It must be real. Really funny, like, it only accepts the, like, lightest touch on the steering wheel. Seeing all the wheels turn red instantly is quite funny. Really? Take less magic damage. I regenerate 10% of my gas consumed as ward. Makes sense. Yeah, I guess I definitely believe that some of them just kind of break down into some abstract stat, right? I have discovered the perfect car. You're always in 6th gear. You don't need any other gear. Don't ask any questions. It would be funny, it would be really funny if there was some kind of like tuning loadout that was like accidentally broken, that just like would not be realistic to do in real life but happens to work in the physics of the video game. That makes you much, because this has no effect on your PI budget, right? You can do this all you like. That's an issue in iRacing. That's really funny. I obviously did not arrive on the busted setup, but the fact that I was able to do things that felt like they were just very broken with the transmission. Beautiful. It's the sound of the song of my people. That's funny. Succeed in that. I think the last thing to look at is Autovista, right? Is there anything else related? Well, this other stuff is turned off. Ferrari. And if we wrap a little earlier, I'll credit it as though it was 27 rather than 20 hours. Use the left stick to move around the car. Oh. Oh. Pull the right trigger. Oh my god. Oh wow. Look at all that effort. Get in. Okay, so this is like, you know, to fantasize about having this car, I imagine is very expensive. I guess they put this in the game. He's like, hey, we actually modeled the whole inside of the car, God damn it. Here's proof that we did.
When the 458 Italia turns, so do its headlights. These bi-xenon units automatically...
This is the only better with Connect feature.
...by monitoring steering angle and lateral Gs.
This would be awful with the Connect. It might be kind of interesting with like a VR headset.
Integrated into the nose are aeroelastic winglets designed to improve airflow by deforming in a precisely engineered manner. The air pressure itself controls their action.
I know, right?
This is the very latest mid-engined V8 Ferrari, the 458 Italia. Pretty, isn't it? And that's not something you can say about many of their efforts from the last few years. The 430 had a front end like a leering idiot. The 348 looked like it had crashed into a Venetian blind showroom. But this looks just right. Its appearance isn't just for show either.
Ferrari was okay with that.
Black fins in the front grille flex under air pressure, so the faster you go, the more they bend out of the way.
I love the like
aerodynamics.
Borderline pornographic shots over him saying that.
Sides because they've been moved underneath the car. So it looks fantastic, and its 4.5-litre, 562 horsepower V8 means it has the guts to punch you repeatedly in the back of the head. But that alone wouldn't be enough. Some of its ancestors have been as incompetent and terrifying as having brain surgery performed by a baboon. As it turns out, the 458 is better than that. Much better. In fact, it's a sharp-handling, smooth-riding, savagely fast masterpiece. Of course, it's not perfect. For some reason, they've put far too many buttons on the steering wheel. The dashboard screens are so complicated they can only be worked by Bill Gates, and personally, I'd still rather have the brutal
super genius,
Mercedes
Bill
SLS.
Gates.
But I can't deny that the 458 is a great car and a proper Ferrari.
Okay. Well, I didn't know very much about Top Gear other than its like reputation, but I think I just learned a fucking shitload about Top Gear from that one sequence. That's what you're getting, okay.
The legendary automaker Ferrari was founded in 1929.
I kind of have to see the cars he was shitting on.
Its very first road-going sports
I'm sure they didn't look that bad.
The Stirring 125S was introduced in 1947.
Yeah, I feel like I just had the Matrix scene where they teach him kung fu and like his eyes go like this for a second and he's like, I know kung fu. Like that just happened to me. I know Jeremy Clark. I know everything I need to know about Top Gear.
The 4.5-litre V8 engine produces 562 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds and achieve a top speed of 202 miles per hour.
I imagine to some extent that's like kind of like intoxicating to watch and listen to. What has the best face of the... Oh, wow. What? Get bent. Guess if it has that little DLC flag, I'm hosed, huh? I only have one disc for this game, though. Or it only came with one. 2 that are actually DLC, I see.
This is the 2005 Ford GT.
That seemed like an unnecessary line, but okay. What?
Everyone knows American cars are terrible, and cars from Europe, especially cars from Italy, are better. Better looking, better driving, and usually better sounding. 50 years ago, Henry Ford knew this. That's why he tried to buy Ferrari and thought he had, until Enzo Ferrari looked down his Roman nose and said, you know what? Actually, you can't have it. So, Henry decided to kick Ferrari where it hurt, on the racetrack. He wrote a blank check and told his engineers to build a better racing car and beat Ferrari at Le Mans. And astonishingly,
that movie.
Car, a British chassis with an American engine, the Ford GT40, did just that. 4 times. This car is not the GT40, but it looks like one. And it was made to celebrate Ferrari's humiliation, only this time on the road, not the track. It's the Ford GT, not the GT40, because unlike that car, it's more than 40 inches tall, so Americans could fit into it. But the idea is just the same. A great big V8, a 5.4-litre with a supercharger, and a relatively simple aluminium chassis. 220 miles an hour, and frankly, astonishing handling for a car from America. And movie star looks. I have never driven a car that attracts more attention, and I drove this one a lot, because I bought one as remarkably, at the time, there wasn't a Ferrari that was better. And that's only something that happens once every 50 years.
I could imagine, like, not being a car person, but, like, watching Top Gear just to, like, hear that kind of a thing and, like, it kind of giving you a little bit more of an intuition than I have. It's pretty fun.
With its advanced aerodynamic design, the GT is Ford's first.
Why would they even bother having a more boring British person here?
A fitting achievement, considering it was the GT40 race cars that broke the same speed record at Le Mans in 1966.
Yeah, just like get someone who's a dick about something that's obviously very fancy. There's a bit of a something compelling about that, right?
The 5.4-litre supercharged V8 engine produces 550 horsepower. This helps the car reach 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds.
Having something that's like completely outside of the average viewer's reach of ever encountering, and then just listening to someone just shit on it. It's got to be pretty like cathartic, I imagine. Do the ones that aren't DLC, call it.
This is the 2010 Lexus LFA.
Yeah, right.
This is a Lexus. I know, doesn't look like one, does it? It doesn't sound like a Lexus from the details either. I mean, it has a 4.8-litre, 552 brake horsepower V10. It also has a carbon fibre body. And it does 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and has a top speed of 200 miles an hour. This is what happens when you tell Lexus engineers to stop making quiet, dull saloons for people who play golf. Let off the leash, they go mad and make this, the LFA. A car that sounds like an F1 racer and goes like a Ferrari 458, as it should when you discover that it costs twice as much. But just to prove they haven't forgotten their insane attention to detail, the Lexus boffins have given it dashboard vents that gently waft from side to side to make sure the air is evenly distributed around the cabin. This is a Lexus in the same sense that I'm a 400-meter runner. In other words, it isn't a Lexus at all. What this is Toyota showing exactly what they're capable of. And it turns
Lexus
out
is
that what
Toyota?
they're capable of is quite a lot.
So, like, the top tier presence in this game is very amusing to me because I imagine it's one of those situations where, like, the marketing benefit of having Jeremy Clarkson talk about your car is, like, so high that these, like, fucking furious executives and furious marketing team members are like, you gotta let him do it. You gotta let him shit on us because when he shits on us, it's gonna be worth it in the end, but they're, like, fucking pissed. What does explode do? Oh, it just opens everything. Okay. Toyota invented Lexus because Americans refused to buy expensive Toyotas. Or it's like that's what they want you to think, right? It's like an actor going on a talk show circuit to talk about their upcoming movie, and the people on the talk show is making fun of them, right? Like,
This is the 2011 Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG.
This is not just the greatest car Mercedes makes. Right now, I think it's the greatest car in the world. It's more powerful than a Ferrari 458, it's a little bit louder than a Lamborghini, and it's way more fun than the 911 RS GT Turbo 3S or whatever this week's Ultimate Beetle is called. This is the thinking men's supercar, the Mercedes SLS. The engine is AMG's own 6.2-litre V8 linked to a flappy paddle double-clutch gearbox that sits at the back for perfect weight distribution, so that it feels as though the entire car pivots around your bottom. It does a lot of pivoting, if truth be told, because while it can do huge distances in great comfort, what it is at heart is a shouty, snarly, tail-happy, gull-winged lunatic. And that is why I love it.
well, that was less interesting than the other three. Well, it's one of those, like, toxic things where it's like, I want him to hate it. That's more fun. Okay. And that's all she... Okay, cool. That was fun. I think that's all I got. We don't have any credits here, so I guess I'll go into the Autovista and just walk around as I give my final thoughts. Yeah. So playing Forza was fun. It was less of a shit show than I was expecting. I was really worried that I was going to very, very, very heavily struggle with this game. I thought it was going to be like RTS tier or early Tony Hawk tier. I did eventually get to a point with Tony Hawk where I can kind of like limp through the game, but I still don't feel like I like that those games super gel with me. There's something that I'm missing about them. But this one, like, even though I wasn't playing very well at the end, I was getting, 5th and 6th place a lot of the time. I at least was able to drive around the track somewhat convincingly. And I think that's only possible because of all of the accessibility features that are in the game, the ability to turn all the assists on to start with. The rewind was useful to the very end. I don't think the rewind gave me an unfair sense of accomplishment. I literally think it just saved me time to allow me to reattempt things over and over. Like, I wasn't like, getting first place because of aggressive rewind abuse and going like, yeah, I kick ass at this game. Like, I know I still felt humbled by the game, but the rewind made it feel like I didn't have to set up to practice something over and over, which I guess was part of the problem with something like Tony Hawk, that even though Tony Hawk is generally asking you to do like a 2-minute thing, a lot of the times that 2-minute thing takes you, 30 seconds or a minute to set up every time, and rewind let me get around that, which is nice. anyway, I think I understand the genre a little bit better. I agree with this name on like a lot of the problems. If this has mostly been a, hey, I need someone else to suffer with me as to why these games aren't designed like video games, why they're all designed exclusively like sandboxes, I totally get it, because I don't think anything about the like core design of this demands that it be a sandbox. I think you could make a you know, more traditionally structured video game with levels. And I think we saw that a lot with Enthusia, so I'm excited to play more of Enthusia as it comes up in the future on Subblock. Both the rest of the Driving Revolution mode, which I really enjoy, and that other main mode that sounds like it's also pretty interesting. Yeah, suffer and provide a fresh outsider perspective. I hope it wasn't too miserable to watch me play it or listen to me play it. I know that like the sound of the engine was pretty bad most of the time because I was doing whatever was good enough to get me progress, not whatever was making the car sound good or the drive look good to watch. But like just the fact that I can boot up a race and, you know, make it around the course one time without constantly crashing and constantly having a horrible time is kind of nice. And I think that some of those skills might apply to other games. I'd be interested to go back and play Mario Kart now. I don't think I'd be any better at Mario Kart. But maybe the very rare, you know, 1 in 100 races where you actually have to brake or let off the gas, maybe I'll instinctively do better at those. I've never done well with Mario Kart 200cc, and my argument for that has always been that this isn't the game. Like, the game wasn't designed around 200cc, so it doesn't make sense. It just kind of falls apart when you go that fast. But maybe if I play 200cc like I'm playing a simulationist racer, it'll make a little bit more sense. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for putting it on the schedule. Thanks for being flexible with the time to play. I can understand putting it on for 52 hours. Like, what if the first 5 streams were just a complete nightmare and I just wasn't connecting with turning any of the assists off at all, right? What if the upgrade system just really gripped me a lot more, or it made sense. I don't think that was an unreasonable thing to do. And if you want to keep doing stuff like that in the future, if you don't mind kind of staking the SP and the resources temporarily, I think that's okay. I want to have flexibility in the schedule to allow games that don't fit the mold of how long to beat, games that aren't necessarily beatable, right? Like with Dwarf Fortress, or games which the beat condition is nebulous because what you're going for isn't necessarily me just hitting credits, but me kind of experiencing the whole thing. And I'm guessing there's still stuff to this that I haven't experienced. There's doing things in the world tour towards the end where the stakes maybe feel a little bit higher, but I do feel like I got like the gist of the experience. The 80% of it definitely transmitted. What if I actually wanted to make significant progress in Event List? No. I could imagine a game where it's playing Enthusia. I want to do all of the events in Enthusia, right? Like each level is like, oh man, I wonder what the next level is. Like, what could it possibly be? And this is just like hand designed to be the least interesting way to structure something like an event list, right? Which is too bad because I think that there's even a way to take this game as it exists with the content that's in it and just take a hatchet to it and restructure it so that there is a set of non-degenerate challenges that you can play through that feel like you're getting to something new every time. Unfortunately, it seems like a lot of those things exist in a world tour, but are not served to the player like a la carte. A lot of this game feels like a lot of weird half measures. Like, it's like they wanted to go, they didn't go far enough with certain things and they didn't even try on other things. And it's very, very frustrating. Thank you. Thank you, Alvin. I appreciate it. Yeah, higher stakes are from endurance races where you're dreading having to restart. Playing more time subtly leads to describing how to play better, even though it's repetitive, right? And I understand that that's part of the problem, right? I got the higher stakes from Midnight Club. Like, I want, basically the next thing I want is like, can I have Midnight Club 2 now, but with simulationist racing mechanics, right? Because Midnight Club was like super stressful. I was getting really high heart rate because the stakes were so high that I was about to lose 17 minutes or potentially gain hours if I beat the race early, you know? And so that game is structured beautifully for me as a video game. It feels hard, it feels challenging, it feels annoying at times, but like overall, it feels like a thing that I want to try to overcome. And I think that the fact that Forza has like stripped that desire to overcome out of the game entirely is deeply, deeply frustrating. Yeah, I've heard Pacific Drive's pretty fun, right? It's like a roguelike. But yeah, good times with it. I enjoyed it. It wasn't a total shit show. It probably helped that it immediately followed and replaced Persona. So it was a welcome diversion in that case. I think that concludes my thoughts. Thanks everyone for watching me play. It was a good time. I'm excited to see more racing games in the future because it's definitely a genre that I had basically zero overlap with before starting streaming on Twitch.